Hey folks, this is your host, the one, the only Thrifty Gamer 83 here. You know, I've been watching the microtransaction nightmares unfold on tablets, on consoles, and I just have to say enough. Enough is enough. Microtransactions ruin not only the gaming industry, but the experience for younger gamers, for those wanting to get into gaming. It basically just finds a way to discourage them because with microtransactions, what you have is a purchase of content which may or may not even be included in the game's code. It can be a game you have paid money for. It can be a AAA title. It can be 50 or 60 bucks, and you'll pay another 5 or 10 just to unlock an exclusive character that's already been written to the disc but was taken out just to take consumers for a couple more bucks. Capcom's done it, Squaresoft's done it, EA's done it, but when I look at it, I don't really mind sequels. I don't mind if there's a downloadable content pack or a stuff pack like with The Sims. I don't really mind that. What I do mind is the microtransactions to unlock an outfit, to unlock a character, to unlock something which may already be on the disc, as I said before, or it may become free over the passage of time. And it's really a slap in the face to gamers everywhere. It sucks. The microtransactions are just some of the most selfish, some of the most heartless approaches you can have from gaming companies. It is just a terrible, terrible thing to see happening. As a retro gamer, I tend to stay away from microtransactions personally, and as a gamer, I don't believe they should be part of a game. You know, having to pay for this or that, or just really frustratingly aggravating. It's taken me out of some games because I know that with a microtransaction, it'll boost stats for 30 days in a shooting game, and that's all there is to it. So, knowing that, you get this and you get that, and you're so much better than the other players, and you get to say, get good, son. But realistically, I just, I cannot believe that gaming has turned into this, I want to say cash cow, but it's really just a trash cow at times. It's a travesty at times, and it's a tragedy because the free-to-play games always have a microtransaction written in. And even when you purchase games that have the microtransactions written in, it's kind of like, well, you're paying for their servers and for their deployments, and they're really sweating it this year. You mean the companies which have advertising campaigns and ad firms and are putting in place different games that they have. They're using the free play games to supplement their commercial games and adding the microtransactions to cover the losses of assets which they may incur on their normal products. And it's not something that the industry really wants to talk about, asset losses, so they'll prop up the microtransactions by saying, well, we got to pay for this, we got to pay for that. And people are frustrated with the microtransactions, as I said before, just to unlock certain things in a game which are already written to the disc. And as I said before, in free-to-play games, you have advertisements in the games themselves. You have pop-ups in the games themselves. You would think the ad infrastructure would be enough to cover the game or the content, but no, instead it disenfranchises gamers from looking at it, because it's basically like the Apple iTunes store when you have a microtransaction in there. It's purchase this to remove ads from this, but you're not really going to get that much of the game unless you buy some of these special points in the game. And I've gone through games that have had those special transactions and ads, and it's very, very nauseating to be playing a JRPG and all of a sudden it flips to an advertisement for a tactical RPG. Because you like this, you might like this. But then I'm going to have to sit through another 30 seconds of crappy advertising and brain-numbingly disastrous public relations just to get back to the game I was enjoying. Really, I don't mind sequels. I don't mind downloadable content. What I do mind is the fact that with microtransactions, it's basically beating you over the head and saying you can never really enjoy this game until you purchase this little pack, or until you spend a little bit more money. Oh, we got to keep counting the money. We got to keep counting it. And really, like I said before, that is frustratingly nauseating to have gaming companies just say, well, you can unlock this character, you can unlock this option for speech, you can unlock this outfit, even if it's written to the discs, if you pay us. And it's kind of like Goodfellas, pay me. And that's basically what gaming companies have done now. They hold hostage content, as I said before, which is on a disc or may be released freely a few years later. And instead of capitalizing upon it and releasing it as a free add-on pack, it just adds more and more extensively. And it's when they hit a certain monetary investment that slowly these things become free. But it's only after it hits that certain investment criteria. As I said before, I don't mind for an expansive downloadable content package which adds more and more to a game. I find that just the simple act of selfishness from gaming companies to take investors, really, when you purchase their product, to take consumers, to take investors for the extra $5 or $10 is just nauseating. As I said before, it's one of those things which should not be in gaming when you look at microtransactions. Like I said before, an expanding stuff pack, an expanding downloadable content pack, I don't mind. If it adds a few extra gigs to a title, if it adds different story elements, if it adds a point where you can upgrade your character. I got Deus Ex for the 360 not too long ago. I enjoyed it. I got some of the downloadable content, and it allowed me to level up with another Praxis kit and get a few additional firearms. That I didn't mind. It's when you just add it, say, for one little flag or banner on your character that it gets just aggravating. It just gets to the point where you just say, well, why do I have to pay for that? You know, it may represent something to me, but, you know, I can only imagine in a few years what it's going to be like for my son PJ. But we're going to try to keep him away from screens and from microtransactions for as long as humanly possible. Which might mean, you know, finding alternatives to digital transactions, finding something like a Linux laptop in the future, which he can play with without having to worry about incurring costs, and an educational operating system at that. As I said before, without having to worry about incurring and encouraging the wrathful presence of what I'd call the video game money changers. And it's one of those things I can't get used to, is microtransactions in the digital age. It basically feels like, as I said before, hey, this content that's on a disc, do you want to pay extra to unlock it? That just boils my blood to no good end, because, as I said before, it sucks. Microtransactions suck the will to live out of gamers and turn them off of AAA titles. And it makes them look and say, well, you know what? There's different studios I can find now that will give me this, or that will give me an older retro game that I'd rather sink my money into having the content already unlocked and not having to pay to have someone just unlock or send you a key. Alright, folks, rant, rave, love, hate. I've done enough ranting for today, but I still stand by it. Microtransactions suck. Peace out. Have a good one.